Welcome everybody to the eShow channel. I'm your host Coleman Erickson, and it has been over a year since I've published on this channel, and that's a crime. In today's video, we're going to talk about some ways to cope with what is going on today. And I certainly have a lot more to dive into with our current situation, and I will at a later time in a later video. But for now, I want to focus on what is most important, and that is staying mentally healthy in a crisis like today. So I want to give you guys a few ideas for keeping yourself busy during quarantine. And hopefully some of these you'll find quite productive. And I think that's one of the biggest things to look for nowadays is being productive. And I think that's where we derive most of our sense of worth, is when you're productive, you feel like you're providing a sense of worth towards both what you're making and your community. So we're going to start with one of my favorite techniques for making isolation feeling less isolated, and that's not being isolated. Part of social distancing is to stay home, and that is the best thing to do. So if you do need to go somewhere, that's okay. Go there, get the thing done, come home. And when you really need to go outside and you need to get those juices flowing in you again, what I love to do is just go for a drive. Go anywhere, go to a new place, go to something or somewhere
familiar
to you. But just getting out of the house in a socially distant and conscious way is very helpful for just keeping your mind active. But when you are home, what you want to do is make the space you're staying in a little bit more livable and a little bit more manageable. Even though we would be doing spring cleaning around this time anyway, a part of that is organizing. For me, that's just my film equipment. Over the last year or so, I've amassed quite a bit of equipment that has been a headache to manage. So what I've done in the past week or so is just taken the time to find different ways to compartmentalize it, and different boxes that'll fit things better, and just different ways to make it a bit cleaner in your mind and in your eye. The next thing I want to touch on in that same vein of productivity is that paper that you've been putting off and haven't touched for the last 2 weeks. Another important thing of being inside is there's not a whole lot of room to be active. And if you're a person like me who doesn't have a home gym, then I think you can relate to feeling like, oh, how am I going to be active now? Personally, I have a basketball basket right outside my house in my driveway, which is honestly pretty lucky for me, and I just recently bought a basketball before all quarantine stuff happened, so I've been able to get in with that and get some more practice there. I have definitely seen a lot of 5 and 10-year-olds that are a lot more talented than I am. Big part of being active is enjoying being active, so if you don't like going on runs before, you're not going to like going on runs now. So do things that you actually do enjoy that are active. For me, that's sports. I'm not very good at sports, but I do enjoy playing sports, so that's a way that I can stay active. Another thing that can distract from your usual work but still be productive is learning an instrument. Well, instruments are not cheap. There are some that you can learn online without having to buy a full instrument, or maybe not even having to buy an instrument at all. One thing that I've been focusing on recently is the piano. I have no piano training, and in the past 2 or 3 weeks, I have not gotten very far, but it's still a very rewarding experience. Whether there's a guitar laying around your house, or maybe you have your grandma's old piano, there are ways to learn an instrument that keep your brain active. A very beneficial part of our connected society is you don't have to pay a lot of money to learn an instrument. There are thousands upon thousands of videos here on YouTube that can teach you any song at any difficulty level for the piano or guitar or whatever instrument you're planning on playing. It's been shown that there are a lot of benefits in general for learning an instrument that range from learning an instrument and learning a new skill and just all the different skills you pick up along the way. Usually when you learn one instrument, it becomes a little bit easier to learn another, and another, and another, and you can even begin to learn the whole theory behind music and creating music in general. And lastly, I want to touch back on the aspect of community that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. I think that staying strong as a community is very important these days, and part of that is shopping local. Of course, I relate to not having the money to shop local. I feel really bad when I can't just go to my local coffee shop and say, I'll take $100 worth of your beans. I get not being able to do that. But the next time you feel like going to Chick-fil-A or Qdoba or somewhere, think about, and that's okay, you can go to those places because that does support your community. There are places within your community. But think about maybe going to a local sandwich shop or a local burrito place. Supporting those local businesses not only supports your local economy, but it supports that small business mindset and allowing entrepreneurs to feel like they have the kind of support network to be able to go in and create their own brand. And of course, I'm talking takeout and delivery here. But if you don't feel comfortable ordering food from a restaurant right now, what I recommend doing is ordering gift cards from them. A lot of places will allow you to do that, and then it supports them with money now, and then you can use it later at a safer time. Well, that is the complete and definitive list of everything you can do in quarantine, right? No, of course not. I'm a very small-brained man, and I do not know everything that there is to do. Of course, if you have a good hint or something like that, feel free to share it with me on Twitter or down there in the comments. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll give you 2 older videos here. If this video seems a little alien, you're like, what did this guy used to look like before? It was not always a mustache. This is a temporary poor decision. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like the new style of videos. I will be coming out with more in the future, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys around.